Thank you so much for staying with us. Time now to dissect these stories. And Charles Fakroha, iBrandTV senior analyst, joins us virtually. Good to have you on the show as always, Charles.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, let's begin with the so much talked about fuel subsidy, which of course the federal government has now said that barring any last minute changes, they will begin the payment of the planned increase in civil servants' pay by the end of this month. That's April, of course. And the president is expected to give his final assent for the disbursement any moment from now, and it means that there will now be increase in the payment of the salaries of civil servants, and that's of course giving about 2 months space before the June date proposed for the removal of petrol subsidy. Talk to us about the import of this new development.
Well, thank you very much. I wouldn't want to say, oh, let us clap for the federal government and workers, congratulations, because this will not achieve what they want to achieve. First of all, if you keep doing the same thing and the same method and you want to get a different result, that's madness. You know, you're talking of 40% increase. Now, we only just this announcement, what will happen? It will fuel inflation. Already there is inflation. Now, a landlord will now say, call me my agent, I want to increase my rent. They have increased civil servant salary. Before you know what, transaction costs also go up. Price of food items will go up. At the end of the day, the workers will be in the same place where they were before this increase. For me, I don't think increasing civil servant salary is the solution to fuel subsidy removal. The most important thing here is the money that is realized from this removal should be channeled towards improving infrastructure, improving the lives of the people. Because if you increase somebody's salary by 40% and you go to the market, price of items have increased, then there is no benefit to that salary increase. And besides, it's only servants who do not constitute more than 10% of the working force. So what happened to the private sector? As of the private sector, people might say they don't have the money to increase their own workers' salary. So there is a problem. So for me, it is not increase. We have been seeing increases in salaries of workers, and that does not translate to the quality of living of the average civil servant of Nigeria, as the case may be.
That's a very interesting perspective, you know, especially looking at the fact that they are even talking about paying the 3 months arrears of January, February, and March, and they're saying that they would pay that at a later date. And you just touched on a very sensitive issue, inflation. The inflation rate, of course, we'll still get to that. We know that for the month of March, it has shot up as against the 21.9% we saw in February. But we will get to that. Of course, this would lead to a higher inflation rate. So it means that the figure for the coming months would, of course, be higher than what we have currently. But is this coming from the $800 million loan that was gotten, or grant, as they tagged it, that is coming from the World Bank?
Hello, I didn't get your question.
All of these funds, the payments of the 40% increase, and the fact that they said that they would be paying the arrears of January, February, and March to the civil servant. Are these all tied to the $800 million grant gotten from the World Bank?
No, I don't think they are not tied together. This 40% increase is solely from the government and the civil servant. Okay. Why the $800 million loan for the World Bank is for the generality of Nigerians. And they are saying they want to give it to about, I think, 10 million Nigerians. They want to pay them some amount of
50 million Nigerians.
Okay, again, you can see that this is not even the right way to go about it. I've said it on several platforms that the money we realize from subsidy removal, if we channel it properly, Nigerians will not feel the effects of the subsidy removal. It turns that subsidy removal, we will still see the same government officials, we will still see the same thing, money is not going to the right places, and of course, things will still be the same.
So where is this money coming from? Is it coming from taxpayers' money?
Of the government has a way of funding their own recurrent expenditure, so probably they are expecting increase in our revenue, and of course, paying workers 40% increase. For me, that should not be tied to whether subsidy removal or not. Over time, yes, you increase salaries of civil servants after they have worked for a period of time. You review. So it is not because you want to remove subsidy and you are now increasing their salary by 40%. For me, without whether you remove subsidy or not, from time to time, you review the salaries of your workers, whether private or government.
So do you see the federal government making a U-turn on this plan? Because analysts like you, experts, have been raising concerns as regards this move.
Well, the government is set on what they want to do. We only advise and tell them the implication. For me, I don't see them reversing the decision because, I mean, you heard the spokesperson for the Ministry of Labour saying the president is already he's
going to assent
to
it.
Yes, for the disbursement of this salary increase at the same time. So I don't see, because in fact, they even want to pay arrears from January to March at a later date. So it's obvious that the government has decided on what to do. The crew are saying it is ill time. We're not saying those increase worker salary, but it should not be tied to whether you are removing subsidy or not.
Oh, well, you talked about inflation earlier, and of course we have the figures out here showing that it has increased to 22.04% on a year-on-year basis. That's in March 2023, according to the National Bureau of Statistics Consumer Price Index. And the inflation report for March 2023 released in Abuja on Monday. Of course, a 0.13% points higher compared to the 21.91% recorded in February 2023. Whether the monies coming for the increment and the salary payment of the civil servants is coming from the federal government purse or it's coming from the grant, we of course know it would have an impact on inflation. Tell us more about what to expect, seeing that the figures are jacking up on a monthly basis.
Yes, you have just said it. Whether the funds comes from the World Bank assisted palliative or from the federal government revenue, you see that the inflation is on the increase. And we need to understand the inflation we are currently going through. It is not that we have a lot of money chasing fewer goods. That's why the price of food items are going up. That's not even the issue for now. But when you now increase worker salary, of course, you have so much money now chasing fewer goods. That will now be another inflation. But the type of inflation we are undergoing right now is, for me, it's a cost push inflation. The cost of production, the cost of input has gone up so well. That is one. And of course, most of the inflation is from the headline, the food and consumer index. You see that farmers cannot go to farm. They cannot produce. Even when they produce, they cannot even store. So there is a lot of problem in terms of production. Production cost has gone so high. And the manufacturers, when they want to sell their goods, of course they will put all that in, and you see the price of food items or price of commodities on the increase. So it is a cost push inflation we are experiencing. Now, what the government needs to do to tame this situation is not going by the way of CBN trying to increase the NPRO. Because we have seen you increase the NPRO, eventually it's still going up. So the best thing to do is to harmonize the monetary and fiscal policy. At the same time, we need to go back to production. We need to go back to enabling business environment. Businesses need to thrive. We need to produce a lot. And once we do that, we'll see a gradual stabilization of the inflation rate. Because without producing, without trying to make sure that government create that enabling environment for production, then we'll continue to have inflation on the rise.
Okay, well, let's talk about President Muhammadu Buhari's statement that the federal government under his watch made over 203 billion naira from the sale of petroleum prospecting licensees to 161 firms in its last marginal field bid round. He stated this while speaking at the opening ceremony of the 6th edition of the Nigeria International Energy Summit at the State House in Abuja. What do you make of this statement?
again, I'm even amazed and surprised that the president has become his own chief finance officer, keeping recommended. Of course, it's good for the president to know that under his watch, this amount of money was made when it comes to marginal sales. But we need to understand, these marginal sales, we don't expect the government to even give it out to International Oil Corporation. For us to develop our oil and gas industry, marginal sales are just small sales, that usually on land or maybe shallow waters, that local oil companies can begin to exploit them, and see how they can improve on their own technology before they can now compete with international oil corporations when it comes to deep shore and offshore oil and wells. So it's a very good development. However, we want to see the list of these 161 states, whether they are mostly indigenous friends or they are also foreign, because we need to encourage indigenous oil trades. That is why these marginal fields are given to them when it comes to that bidding round. Because that is the only way we can improve our local context, at the same time encourages more and more local investors to come into the oil and gas industry. They need to start somewhere. And the only place to start from is from marginal fields.
Well, still coming from the federal government, this report is that they have spent $247.9 million servicing railway debt. That's just in the last 2 years, while making only 11.6 billion naira from railway services during the same period. According to data from Nigeria's external debt service payment report by the Debt Management Office, Nigeria spent $122.9 million servicing debt incurred for the Nigeria Railway Modernization Project, that for Idu-Kaduna section and the Lagos-Ibadan section, and that was in 2021. By 2022, they spent $125.06 million servicing debt incurred for the same project. What do you make of this imbalance in the borrowing and the revenue generated from the rail line project?
Very good. Thank you very much, Momalali. You see how it is. First of all, we must commend the Debt Management Office for keeping track, correct data on this, our borrowings and revenue generated by this government agency. Because if you don't have a DMO keeping these records, then of course people will think the railway corporation is doing so well. But now you can see that the railway corporation is in debt already. You have spent so much trying to modernize the various railway, Kaduna, Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, and others, and look at what you have generated. Yes, one will also look at the terms and conditions of the facilities they were taking, for this project. We understand that the conditions are also very friendly. But at the same time, these monies have been borrowed. What we expect now, what the Railway Corporation to do, is to see how they will now begin to generate revenue on a monthly basis and do a projection. So that not when you are spending so much, not for debt servicing, you are spending over 100 billion and you are making revenue of just 12 billion naira. So you can see that the Railway Corporation has to sit down and begin to see how we can increase revenue, but of course, giving improved services to the consumers of their service. But at the same time, I also advise governments all over the world. We have seen that certain critical infrastructure, transportation, is even concessioned out to private companies, because we have said government has no business being in business. So there can be an arrangement where a consortium, the private company, this should be conceded to them, and they know how to manage it very well, and of course, pay government a certain amount of money, and you will see that you'll be able to improve on the general region. At the same time, improve service to the average Nigerian who are making use of the services of the Railway Corporation.
All right. Charles Fakra, it's been a very insightful time with you. Thank you so much for the brilliant analysis. Charles Fakra is iBrandTV senior analyst. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
All right, still to come after the break, the Nigeria exchange closed negative amidst buying interest in sell-offs. as bears regain dominance, driving down the broad market. Details after the break. Stay with us.